In today's video, we're talking social media. What's up YouTube? Welcome to the video. My name is Tyler, also known as the Fit Chemist, and I help young men take control of their lives by taking control of their fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle habits so that ultimately we can lead healthier and happier lives. So if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing. Turn those notification bells on so you don't miss when I post a new video. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am so glad that you are here. Before we dive into the video contents, I do want to say welcome to the new studio. So you can see I've got my standing desk / office here in my bedroom, and I've got the American flag situation figured out because previously I had that up there, but there's a window behind it and there's too much light shining through and just had to figure out some logistics. But here we are. I think this is what we're going to end up settling on, and I think it's pretty sweet. If you haven't seen my last video, go ahead and check that out. I'll put a little thumbnail somewhere up here, but I documented my entire road trip down to Florida. So driving down here, and then when I got here, I gave you guys a little bit of a house tour and what it looks like as far as living situation goes. So go ahead and check that one out. But as many of you guys know, just a few short months ago, I was actually writing my thesis back in Boston. And during that time, I did actually give up social media. That's right, I did a 63-day purge of all dopamine hits. I did this for two main reasons. The first one being that I want to give it up for Lent. So I want to show God that, this is not something that has control over me. I can go an extended period of time without being on social media. But secondly, I also realized and noticed that there were a lot of times when I was in the lab, whether I was working at the hood or working at my desk, that I'd pick my phone up to do something. I would see that I had a social media notification, whether that was Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. I would click that, and then I'd spend 15 or 20 minutes on that social media platform. And the next thing you know, I'd look up and be like, oh my goodness, I just wasted all that time. I didn't even mean to do that in the first place. Thankfully, I was wise enough to recognize that it would in fact be a distraction and that I should get rid of these apps from my phone. And if I'm being totally honest, lust is still something that I struggle with on a daily basis. And I know that those social media companies know exactly what kind of post to put in front of your face to get you to click on it. And then before you know it, you end up somewhere that you don't need to be. So in my mind, I wanted to get rid of all distractions while I was writing my thesis, including those as well. So as I was going through that journey, I actually documented and wrote some notes along the way because I knew I'd be filming a video like this eventually. And the notes that I had on day one said that I already realized what an illusion social media is. We think we're more connected, but really that couldn't be further from the truth. Trust me, the first couple days, even though I didn't have the apps on my phone any longer, I did feel myself, the muscle memory, like I'd go into my pocket, I'd pull out my phone, my thumb would hover over where those icons used to be, and it took a little while to adjust to that. But I did notice when I was doing that, it's like all these times that I would pull out my phone and go to do that, it's like, oh wow, like this is a time where I could just not be on my phone right now. So whether that was walking from one building to another on campus, whether that was at some awkward silence in a social situation, if I was riding the T or some other public transportation, like since I didn't have those things on my phone anymore, I was forced to interact with the people around me, which actually led to me being happier in the long run. It's just so crazy to me that we have all these cool things going around in our surroundings and we can just get so lost in this virtual world. And honestly, I think part of it comes down to just being comfortable. It's a lot easier to take out your phone and look at a social media app than it is to strike up a conversation with the person next to you. Oftentimes, you'll probably get a little bit nervous. You might have some adrenaline pumping, heart rate goes up a little bit, and that's just not something that we want to do. We're not trained to get outside of our comfort zone. And because we have these apps on our phone, we're not even trained to talk to the people around us anymore. During the first couple weeks, I realized what a time sink social media actually is just because you're spending so much time on there when you could be doing other things that are way more productive. So I'll put a link to an article down in the description box below that talks about a study that found that the average TikTok user is spending 90 minutes a day on that app. And that's just that app alone. That is incredible to me. That's so much time just throwing it down the drain. Personally, I noticed that I could leave for work 30 minutes earlier because I used to be so bad about scrolling on Twitter. I'd be eating my banana for breakfast and I just have my phone in the other hand, scrolling through. I could get lost in Twitter, like reading comments and people's replies and all that stuff. Once I cut that out, I'd go home, I'd eat the banana in like a minute and then I'd be off to work. Like I wasn't wasting time doing that. I also noticed that in the evenings, I would actually read a lot more just because I couldn't get that dopamine hit from looking at Instagram or looking at Facebook. When asked who wants to sit down and read a chapter of a book that's going to take 30 minutes to an hour, maybe it's a long chapter, versus looking at a reel or a TikTok that's going to give you like endless dopamine for that same amount of time, nobody's going to choose the book. Because I wasn't spending all this time on social media, I actually had even more free time in the evenings to work on things that I wanted to work on. So while I was writing my thesis, I still had time to come home and take online courses. So I bought one online course about organic outreach and messaging new clients. So I was able to go through that while I was writing a thesis just because I didn't have that habit of pulling out my phone and just looking at that and scrolling at that before bed. I also noticed that my mornings and evenings were a lot lighter just because I wasn't being bombarded with social media notifications. So I could wake up and focus on whatever it is I needed to do or get done that morning. And then same thing when I was going to bed at night, I could just kind of relax, like let my mind calm down from the day instead of looking at social media and get my brain all revved up before going to bed. I think throughout this whole journey, honestly, that was the biggest thing for me to realize is just like, when you're dying and you're on your deathbed, I don't think anybody is going to say, man, I really wish that I spent more time scrolling on social media. Like, that's not going to happen. You're going to wish that you were way more present in the moment. So we all need to focus on doing that while we're in the moment. Another thing that I realized is how silly it might be to post certain topics on social media. So I, for one, used to post a lot of political content maybe a year to 2 years ago, and just I don't know, that's what I did until this social media detox. And I listened to a Ben Shapiro and Bill Maher special. And what they were talking about on that special is just how odd and strange it is that we argue with someone from our high school chemistry class on Facebook about who the new Supreme Court Justice nominee is going to be. And oftentimes, if you saw that person in person, like right in front of you, that's not going to be the topic of conversation. So social media really just like amplifies those divisions and just, yeah, you get into these arguments that are like totally meaningless. Another thing I noticed too was that I had a much easier time developing friendships. So I did notice that there were a few people I had the pleasure of getting to know in Boston. And after that social media detox, I followed them on social media. And when I looked at their social media, I was like, like I had this interesting thought where had I seen their social media profile prior to getting to know them in person, I'm not sure that I would have put that effort into getting to know them, just because I probably would have written them off right away and been like, oh, well, you know, it seems like we're not aligned on these values. So like, I'm not going to spend my time talking to them or getting to know them or whatever, you fill in the blank there. But that was kind of an interesting thought and realization I had that like, now, or I guess since I didn't have social media in the picture, I actually allow myself to get to know someone naturally before looking at their social media profile and thinking that I know everything about them. And last but not least is that I was physically incapable of going and lusting after some Instagram models because I didn't even have Instagram on my phone in the first place. And something that has really helped me since I've been back on social media is just telling myself how lame it is to lust after a two-dimensional image of someone. Like, go out in real life and meet people in real life and talk to girls that you find attractive. I'm not saying that you should go and lust after them in person, but I did notice that there was this sort of disconnect in my mind where if I did see a beautiful girl on Instagram, I'd be more willing to like that photo or comment on it or maybe send her a DM. But if I saw that same person or same girl in person, I'd be way too scared to go say something in the first place. And taking this detox sort of helped me get out of that mindset and actually yearn for that human connection and be more willing to go and approach people. We'll get back into the video contents in just 1 second, guys, but I am so excited to announce this channel's first ever video sponsor, and that is going to be Terelax. Terelax is a company that's dedicated to the production and development of healthcare massage equipment. So they went ahead and sent me a nice little massage gun. I've been wanting one for so long, and when they wanted to collaborate with me, it was a no-brainer. So I got one shipped out to me. As you can see, I haven't even opened it yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna show you the unfiltered and raw unboxing process, my initial thoughts upon seeing it, and then I'll give you guys like a little 30-second to 1-minute review, and then we'll get back into the content. Here we go. I've got some scissors and a pocket knife just in case we need all that, but I actually started tearing into it and then I was like, wait, I gotta unbox it. So let's see what it looks like. Ooh, fancy. Packaging is pretty nice, I like the colors here. Let's open it up and see what's inside. All right, let's see, got the user manual and then the massage gun itself. So there's a couple different attachments it looks like. Not really sure what all these are for. I'll have to look into that. Also included a nice little like USB charging cable, so we'll get my camera to focus. And then yeah, let's unbox this massage gun as well. It's nice, pretty light, seems durable. I don't know how we do this, probably just pop it in. All right, good to go. So I've got this attachment installed, very simple to use. All you do, you can see there's a power button on the back here. I'll see if the camera will focus. All you do is if you want to tap it, you can see that these lights come on, and that actually changes the style and I guess the power of the actual massage gun. But then to turn it on, you just hold that button a little bit longer. Now, as you can see, it's moving. So if I tap it, see it changes through the different styles. I think one of them is like a pulse style, but let's test it out and see how it goes. Ooh. That's nice. Get those traps. Just had an upper body workout today, so that's feeling good. We like that. Ooh. Really work it. Get in there. Super easy to change attachment styles. All you have to do, pop that one off. I'm gonna try this one, little U-shaped one. Plug this guy in here. Make sure it's in there nice and snug. And then just hold the power button, and we are back in business. So not really sure like what this attachment style is for, but ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I love it.
It's the best. I love it.
All in all, seems like a pretty awesome product, so I'm definitely excited to use this some more, especially after some heavy workouts. So again, thank you to Terelax for sponsoring the video, first ever sponsor on the channel. And with that, let's get back into it. So again, a big thank you to Terelax, and now we can get into some cons of social media. Honestly, it was pretty tough to come up with these because I said at the beginning of the video that because of social media, you think that you're more connected with people, but in actuality, you're not. Like when I didn't have it on my phone, I felt more connected to the people I was around. The only downside was that maybe good friends and family that I wasn't seeing in person, like I wasn't seeing what they're up to on social media. But again, very easy. I could have just picked up the phone and called them to see what's going on in their life, which would probably feel even better than scrolling on social media in the first place. I would say the only real con or limitation to me now that I'm going into online personal training full time is that I don't have an endless amount of potential clients. Like if I didn't have social media on my phone, I'd have to go door-to-door sales. I'd have to just talk to people at the gym or in person. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but having social media on my phone, I can go and message 50 to 100 people a day and find new clients that way. And that is one tool I'm actually thankful for because of social media. So what am I doing with social media moving forward? Well, as we've already seen in this video, I am back on social media. If you're watching this, obviously I posted this video to YouTube and I most likely announced it on Facebook or Instagram as well. So I'm back on all of those apps, and I would say now that I'm definitely more mindful of one, the type of content I'm consuming on there, but two, how much time I'm actually spending on there. Honestly, I view it as a tool and not something that rules over my life. Like I'm guilty of this too. Like I'll go out to a social situation and I'll be like, hey, can you take a picture of me wanting to take a picture for Instagram instead of enjoying the moment? Or I'll whip out my phone real quick and like I'll take a story and just like let everybody else in the world, except for the people that I'm with currently, know that I'm out doing this thing having fun when I should just be in the moment having fun with those people that I'm with in the first place. So hopefully you followed that train of thought. But one thing that really stood out to me was like my first week down here in Florida, I went to Siesta Key Beach and I noticed this young couple. They came up next to me. They sat in front of me about like 10 feet to my left, and they had a young child. In the first 20 minutes that they were on the beach, the husband was just doing this complete photo shoot of the wife, and their kid was just playing in the sand alone. And it's just like, that to me really stood out. I was like, wow, like, you know, I'm glad I did this social media detox. I'm glad that I'm mindful about how much time I'm spending on it now, because when I have a family and a wife someday, I do not want that to be me. It's just so weird to me thinking that like 50 years ago, people physically could not do that. If you went to the beach, you enjoyed the beach, and at best, you maybe got a postcard at like a beach shop outside of the beach, and then you sent that to the people that you cared about. And like, I've also realized that social media, especially for the younger generation, I'd say my generation as well, it's almost like this social currency where like the more posts you have of cool places you've been or vacations you've been on and stuff, like that adds to your social value. And I feel like that can also get pretty toxic, especially for people that are in their teenage years now. So yeah, it's really interesting to see where social media takes us over the next 30, 40, 50 years. And once we actually start learning the long-term benefits of it, because honestly, my generation is like the first generation that is growing up with this totally unique tool that we've never had before in all of human history. Honestly, if I wasn't going to be a full-time online personal trainer, I would just remove the apps from my phone entirely and never go on them again. but it's kind of hard to be an online personal trainer if I'm not online. So again, I'm just seeing it as a tool to find new clients and like not letting it rule over my life. But before I sign off here, I just want to recommend that if you haven't done something like this, I would encourage you to try it out maybe for 30 days. You don't have to do the 60 days like I did, but I don't know how long it takes for those benefits to actually start coming in. However, if you have done something similar, let me know down in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what your experience was like, and maybe there were some pros or some cons of not having social media that I missed in this video. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Turn those notification bells on because I post new videos every single Friday and you do not want to miss when they go live. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.